Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening,
Good
Mayank.
evening.
Please take a seat.
Thank you, sir.
So, Mayank, this is your second attempt,
Yes, sir.
if I'm not wrong, right? So, what lessons have you learned from your previous failure?
Sir, while preparing for the mains, I I have to more focus on my practice of answer writing, sir. Second thing, what I feel that I have to put more emphasis on the conceptual understanding. And third is, sir, that during the whole journey, I have to be very vigilant on the topics which is being in the news. So these things, what I think I have improved this year, and that's why, sir, today I am here, sir.
Okay, right. Do slogans become reality? We Indians are very fond of slogans, right? Right from Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Vande Mataram, and whatnot.
Yes, sir.
But do they become reality? What's your experience of it?
Sir, if we see from the modern history, or so before independence also, so these slogans have played a very pivotal role, sir. Means the people feel connected, emotionally they are attached with it. So, for example, when Gandhi ji during the non-cooperation movement, he said that we can bring the Ram Raj. So that Ram Raj, sir, actually the people feel connected with it. So they can easily internalize the concept and they can voluntarily participate in the movement. In the same way, sir, after independence, sir, before independence means Quit India movement. Again, Gandhi ji said, "Karo ya maro," that is, do or die. That time also people internalized this thing, and India got independence. If you see, sir, 1966, when our Honorable Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri said, "Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan," that time also, sir, each and every people feel connected with this thing. Slogans, sir, actually play a prominent role, sir.
So, do you think they are successful? Or we are successful in converting slogans into reality?
So, to some extent,
Okay.
if that slogan,
So, where have we failed then? You said to some extent, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, where have we failed?
sir, any slogan is just a quality. Sir, see, if any slogan being propounded by any leader, so it is to be successful. It depends upon the two factors, sir. One is the leadership quality, the what the leader is being, if the people are feeling connected with the leader or not. Second thing, the people themselves are means they are participating in the movement or not. So, for example, sir, 1977, like when sir Total Revolution, that is our one of JP Andolan movement, sir. There was JP Andolan, and he said Sampurna Kranti, that is total revolution. People internalized this thing and they voluntarily participated. So later on, when they found that the leadership is being done for the political gimmick, then they not cooperated it. So when the slogan is for the welfare of the society and the people feel that yes, it can bring some change, they fully participated.
Okay. What do you see yourself as? As a slogan maker or someone who realizes those slogans?
Sir, as a leader, what I think a slogan is one part, but implementing the slogan so that people can participate and you can also fully participate, that is the best quality in the leader.
So, what would you like to be? A slogan maker or someone who realizes those slogans?
Sir, as an administrator, if I will be any posted anywhere, sir, I have to see the people in which they can be motivated. Sir, according to that, I will, if I feel that a punching slogan is required, so then I will come with the slogan and I will make the people feel that if this slogan can be executed, their life can be changed. So I will, depending upon the situation, the slogan maker as well as slogan realization, both things, sir, I will try to fulfill.
So, you see yourself as a leader, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. So, if you are a leader,
Yes, sir.
and have you ever been in a situation in your life when you wanted to do something which was really correct, but at the same time you were forced to obey the orders of someone? It could be your parents or teachers or whoever it is. So, were you in such situation ever? You're forced to follow the orders, but you knew there was something else that could be done correct, and it was correct indeed, but you couldn't do it.
Sir, sir, in my society, sir, what I found, sir, when I was in graduation time, sir, one of my family members, sir, relatives, sir, they were trying to give dowry for the marriage, which is against the law also. So that time when I came to know, I resisted in my family and I talked to them that it is bad, it is not to be given, and it is legally wrong also. But sir, since I was not in a position to convince them that time and they done it, that time I felt that I should more reacted and I should have something do, so that everything should might be have convinced. So I think that time I should have, as a leader, I should have much more reacted, or something I have done something so it can be prevented, so that it can be a message in the society.
Have you ever hacked anything?
So,
As a computer engineer,
yes sir.
have you ever resorted to hacking?
No sir.
No. What do you think of hacking? Is it good? Is it ethical or not?
Sir, if you see, hacking has two components, sir. One is ethical hacking, and one is illegal hacking, which we do the intrusion without the unauthorized access, and we intrude in the system. But on the other side, sir, there is a concept called ethical hacking, in which an organization itself, they appoint some hacker to hack the system, their own system, to find out any loopholes, and if there is any loopholes, so that they can correct at the organization level. That is called as ethical hacking. So ethical hacking is a good concept, but if you are doing hacking for unauthorized access, that is wrong, sir, and that is cybercrime also.
Okay, but do you think someone who has learnt the art of hacking or the skill of hacking, even though it's for ethical reasons, don't you think he or she may use it for wrong purposes, illegal purposes later? So shouldn't we ban hacking?
Say hacking is a knowledge. It isn't, sir. It is a knowledge, sir, and it should be appreciated. But hacking, if it should be done in a, sir, welfare of the society. For example, I'm saying about the ethical hacking, sir. It is good, sir, because you can find out the loopholes and you can manage the system and the organization. But if the hacking is against the law, then, sir, there should be, sir, legislative action should be taken against him.
Okay.
Hello Mayank,
Yes,
just wanted to ask you one question regarding the psychology which you have studied as your optional subject.
Yes, ma'am.
So my first question to you is that heredity or environment, which factor do you think that is the most important for a child growth?
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, in the psychology, the nature versus nurture debate is a very prominent debate, and some scholars say that is the nature determines the growth of a child. Some say it is a nurture determines the growth of a child. But ma'am, it is an interactionist approach. Nowadays, after research, it has been found that the interactionist approach, that is nature as well as nurture, both play a simultaneous role in the development of a child. For example, ma'am, if you know about the Jean Piaget's theory, he say that the nurture is one of the component for the development of a child. One more psychologist is Noam Chomsky. He say that nature is the more component. Later on, ma'am, one more researcher, you can say psychologist, Vygotsky, he said that nature and nurture both play a prominent role in the development of a child.
Okay, since you answered it very nicely, I wanted to just ask you, now that you are in a room where we are interviewing you, how are you feeling? Are you feeling nervous? Are you feeling very confident? What is your exact feeling?
Ma'am, it is a human tendency that if you're facing the interview, automatically you are nervous, ma'am. It is there.
In one word, if you want to describe yourself right now, what would be it?
Ma'am, complex session is going on.
Okay. Just wanted to ask you on this matter. Now, parents, they put children into so much pressure of studying, and like since 30 to 40 years almost, the children are like trying to becoming engineers, doctors, as well as they have a pressure, peer pressure as well, if you have heard of it. So what do you think, like how can we, should we acknowledge the fact, or what can be done to prevent it, to prevent children from getting burdened with a lot of education and all? How do you think the youth can be motivated to do something which they like? What are your take on this?
Yes, ma'am, I agree with you that there is a peer pressure and the competition in the society, and due to which there is a burden on the children, means they think on getting the marks instead of getting the information or the education. That is the component which is missing in today's child, and that's why, ma'am, there is a lot of pressure in the student to just get rank 1, rank 2 or rank 3. This should not be there. But for this, what I will suggest, that the parenting should be changed. The parents, instead of instilling the competition type of a spirit, they should instill the coordination and the cooperation spirit. Means they should focus more on the development of a child rather than the just quantitative development.
Right,
The qualitative
same thing.
development, I
Same
think.
thing. Suppose for UPSC, there are a lot of candidates who are competing against each other.
Yes, ma'am.
So, how do you think it can what kind of steps can boost a morale of a UPSC candidate? Very frankly,
Ma'am, see, competition.
because of it's a cutthroat competition,
Yes, ma'am.
also very like neck to neck competition. So, what do you think can boost a morale in such kind of UPSC aspirants?
And see, when you enter into any competition, then there is a two means outcomes, whether you will win or you will lose. So I suggest that students should take it as a healthy competition. They should not take it as a do or die type of thing. If they success, it's okay, they are blessed. But if they are not success, it doesn't mean that you are lost in your life. There are multiple options. By preparing for the UPSC, ma'am, I can say my personality has developed. I can use my information, what I have learned throughout this journey, I can use somewhere else. So there are a lot of opportunities. We have to be very optimistic and hopeful. It is
Right.
not the examination.
And also regarding, because computer is your subject, I'll just ask you one more question regarding the advancement of artificial intelligence and regarding all type of e-banking systems that we have. As youth, we are really not going to banks and are actually devoting much time to our computers or our mobiles to do banking, online transactions. And also artificial system is coming up, artificial intelligence is coming up, which are actually like people are telling that our jobs can get lost due to artificial intelligence or a humanoid robot system. What do you think will be the position of the youth, say 10 to 20 years from now, and what will be the government job scenario be? Will it be same or will it be lost to the robots, or will we compete against robots, or will it be the same as it is now? What do you take on this?
Yes. Ma'am, there is apprehension that automation will lead to the job cuts. But ma'am, if we see our India in 1986, when the then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi brought the computerization in the administration, everyone was apprehension that the job cuts will be there will be reduction in the government jobs. But it doesn't happen, ma'am. Parallel jobs created, and automatically we enter into the liberalization after 1991, and so many jobs might have created. So that time we never imagined that such type of job will be created, and India will capitalize this, and India will be in the service sector, will boost in the global economy. In the same way, ma'am, today automation or artificial intelligence, people are having the apprehension that it will lead to job loss. But ma'am, if it can be utilized in a proper way, then we can create parallel jobs. And India, ma'am, if you see, it is an asset that computer and the service sector already in a boost. So if we give the proper skill to the students, we can again we can create a global image in the global economy, ma'am.
Right.
So let me extend the discussion which is being continued, Mr. Mayank. The first question I would like to ask you is, in recent times, there is a feeling and perception that organized sector is creating more and more informal jobs. Do you agree with this? Because we are discussing about the scenario of job creation.
Yes.
As a pertinent question is asked by madam. So do you agree with the statement organized sector is creating more informal jobs in recent times when compared to maybe 3-4 decades ago?
Sir, if you see the organized sector, sir, then due to some labor laws, what they are doing, they are moving toward the contractual labors, and due to which we can say yes, means they can hire and fire type of tendency is there. So it is creating the informal jobs because sir, they do not have to abide by the labor laws and the social security laws. So it is easy for them to go for the contractual labor and create the informal jobs. But sir, the government is trying to codification of these labor laws. They are bringing reform in the labor laws so that the codification can be done, and the organized sector, these informal jobs actually, they can be brought in the ambit of organized sector and they can get the benefits of social security.
Right, but if you look at the other side of the coin, what are the disadvantages of creation of more number of informal jobs? And do you feel that the present day job creation is satisfactory? If you look at delivery boys and if you look at Swiggy, Uber, Ola, because your statement in comparison to 1980s, huge opportunities are created after liberalization.
Yes, sir.
Do you agree whether it is sufficient or something needs to be done?
Sir, after liberalization, the more importance was given to those students who were well equipped with the computer knowledge. So it created divide in the society. Means the students who have the computer knowledge, they got the jobs in the service sector. But apart from this, there was population which was not acquainted with the computer knowledge. They were not able to get the jobs. So this created divide. Right now, sir, if you see the informal jobs which you are mentioning about the Swiggy and Uber, these are the gig economies job. Sir, they are creating the job in the form of part-time jobs, but these are not the sustainable jobs. We have to focus on those jobs so that there should be job security in the person. Means they should have the job security. If they have the job security, then they will be much more motivated to contribute. And when this will be, sir, there, then the whole ecosystem will be very balanced. I mean to say that if the job security will be there, then they will be motivated. Even their children will be feel motivated, because part-time jobs are in the gig economy, sir. Actually, they do not have any medium to represent their grievances, where they will go if they will be cheated and all, sir. So we have to focus on creating the organized sector jobs, so that there should be a job security should be there, sir.
But when more and more jobs are created, why there are protectionist tendencies across the countries, across the globe? You are seeing lot many protectionist tendencies. Each and every country is creating walls.
Yes, sir.
Then why?
Sir, if you see the global scenario, especially if we talk about the European countries, sir, so the main issue of the protectionism is there because they have the apprehension that the illegal migrants from the neighboring countries, they will come to their country and they will snatch their jobs. So due to which they are demanding from the government that the local should be given more preference. In this way, the government, to fulfill their wishes, they are adopting the protectionist measure. In the same way, sir, if you see the America, they're also following the same tendency. If you see the US president, he has come with the America First policy. They want to promote that the job should be created for the locals instead of the outsiders. So this is also being, sir, replicated to all the countries. They are thinking that locals should be given more preference, and they have the apprehensions that the illegal migration or any type of migration, they are snatching their jobs. So that's why, sir, I think that protectionism is being highlighted.
Is protectionism good or bad for the countries?
So it has the pros and cons of both. So if you see the pros, then it will lead to the development of the domestic industries, and the people will get the job. And when the people will get the job, means it is just theory, sir. If the people get the job, then there will be prosperity, and the confusion and the chaos in the society can be minimized. But if you see the cons, sir, if there will be protectionism, then that country will lose the competitive edge. They will not have the marketing in the global area. And over a period of time, sir, for example, if we take our country, so before 1991, we followed little bit protectionist, means we were high import tariff we imposed, due to which we lost the competitiveness that time. After liberalization, when we connected with the global economy, we expanded our economy. So we have to take a balanced approach. We can't take the protectionist at a stretch.
Okay, that means the governments have to tread cautiously.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us deviate little bit, and you are watching the developments for the past 1 month closely, current events.
Yes, sir.
And if you watch the current events, tell me one example
Yes, sir.
which can be considered as an example for intellectual dishonesty. Intellectual dishonesty. Can you tell me one example in recent past as far as Indian political developments are concerned? Have you understood the word intellectual dishonesty?
Sir, no, sir. Sorry, sir.
Okay. What do you call the CBI incident? Is it not an example of intellectual dishonesty?
Sir, as such, I am not clear about this definition.
About that. Fine. So, how do you view the 10% quota for economically backward sections among the general category?
Sir, what I think logically the reservation was introduced in the constitution for the people who were socially excluded from the society means they were being subjected for the historical injustice. To make them empower and to uplift them, the reservation was introduced. It was not for the people, it was not for the employment or something like this, sir. So now the reservation, 10% reservation, what I think they have given to the economically weaker section in the general category, it is the problem of economy as well as employment. So it is my view, sir, that instead of giving the reservation, which can create a confusion in the society because other sectors will also demand the more and more reservation, instead of this, we should focus on economic policies and the economic intervention so that we can create the more jobs and employment so that there will be no need of reservation. And so second, if you see, so there is a bar on 50% cap is there. If you are crossing the 50% cap, that is unconstitutional. So what I think, sir, the more and more economic policies and intervention should be taken instead of reservation.
But you are talking about social discrimination for centuries.
Yes, sir.
But at some point of time, that should end. That means reservations on the basis of caste, on the basis of community. Whether there is a need for putting full stop in the original constitution, it was thought of for 10 years.
Yes, sir. So if you see, sir, Article 16.4, it is being clearly mentioned that the reservation should be given till if the adequate representation is not there. When the government policies or the commission or any committee found that the adequate representation of all the communities have been addressed, then that time, sir, there is no need of reservation.
But do you feel that adequate representation is ensured after 70 years for SCs, STs or not?
Sir, so they have been subjected to subjugation and isolation and dejection for long centuries, sir.
Yes, that is true.
In these 70 years, sir, we can't expect that each and every community will come and uplift. So we need to give time. We have to make the policies in such a way that we should empower them. Over a period of time, sir, we can do it, sir.
Okay, here I'd like you to see yourself
Yes, sir.
in a situation. Let's say you are eligible for this 10% economically weaker section reservation, right?
Yes, sir.
And this is your last attempt at UPSC, and you can't avail them this year, and you lose out because of just that factor. So how would you react?
Sir, can you pardon the question, sir, please?
Yeah, sure. Let's say you are eligible to avail the 10% EWS,
Yes, sir.
okay, and you are attempting the UPSC civil services for the last time. This is your last chance.
Okay, sir.
You are eligible for the reservation, but you cannot take it because it is not applied retrospectively,
Okay.
right?
Okay, sir.
So because of just that factor, you are losing out. You will not be selected.
Yes, sir.
Had it been applied, you would be selected.
Okay, sir.
So how would you take it? How would you react to the situation?
Sir, see, that time, sir, I was not aware that 10% reservation is yet to come or not. So that time I was not selected. So I have moved on in my future. I have selected other opportunities in my life. So what has gone, sir, it is gone, no, sir. Why to react about it? I have to move on in my life.
Okay, so you are a positive thinker.
Sir, if you have the positive thinking, I think that you can excel in life, sir.
Okay.
Instead of, sir, criticizing or regretting anything.
Okay, so how intelligent are you?
Sir, I didn't took any IQ test, sir.
So you haven't. Why not? Were you afraid of coming up with a low IQ or a high IQ, or why not?
Sir, in psychology, sir, there is a very good theory, sir,
Mm-hmm.
that what are the IQ tests being conducted,
Okay.
specifically in the Indian society, they have the parameters which is from the Western society. So they are not apt for the Indian society. So if you go for the IQ with the tests which are based on the Western, sir, automatically, sir, you will be demoralized. Sir. Everyone will be demoralized, sir.
Okay, can you give me specifics of those things? You just said that it is a theory, right?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
But are you aware of one such thing?
IQ test, sir.
Like IQ test,
Sir.
which is applicable to Westerners but not to Indians?
Yes, sir, there is
Just
a
an example.
So there is a Wechsler intelligence adult. So there is a Wechsler adult intelligence skill test. So in this, there are parameters like if they want to check any student, sir, Instead of taking the marks or academic career, they look upon the curricular activities, how much they have performed. But if you see in our country, sir, most of the things or education is based in such a way that we give more emphasis on the academic rather than curricular. So we can't. So we are not in an apt position to go for that test.
What about Mensa? Won't you accept that Mensa is standardized?
So please, sir.
Mensa, MENSA, the Mensa IQ test. Is it not standardized? Won't you accept it as an Indian?
So I'm not aware about Mensa.
Oh, you're not aware about it. Okay, I'll put you in the shoes of a feminist.
Okay, sir.
Right? Let's assume you are a feminist for a moment.
Yes, sir.
So, how would you react to the word or phrase man hours? The state you come from is on a renaming spree, right? Okay. So, how would you react as a feminist to the word or phrase man hours? So, how many man hours are required for a job? This is very commonly said, right?
Yes,
So, how would you react to that word or phrase? Remember, you are a rabid feminist.
Sir, every person has their own capacity to do work, sir. So we should not make a perfect criteria to measure the potential or the capacity of any person.
Okay, but my question is different. I said, okay, I'll come back to it. Your state is renaming the cities left, right, and center, right? Okay.
Yes,
So, coming from that state and being a rabid feminist, how would you react if someone say how many man hours are required to build this? So, I am concentrating only on man hours, right? Why should it be man hours? You are a feminist, remember. Would you rename it? At least try to.
So instead of man hours, we can say human hours, sir.
Okay, would you try to rename it?
So instead of man, I will use the human, sir.
Human hours.
Yes.
Why so?
Sir, because the word should be, sir, neutral. It is not the man or woman, sir.
Uh-huh.
And sir, because every man or a woman, they have their own potential and the capacities, sir. So instead of focusing on the man, sir, because when you use that word, psychologically it play a role that you are comparing a woman with a man. But if you use a neutral term like human, sir, it
Okay.
is, sir.
So if you have to change the name of the city you come from, what would you choose? You already changed man hours to human hours, right? That's a progress.
Okay, sir.
So how would you change the name of the city you come from?
Sir,
You come from Raebareli, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you're asked to change the name, what would be your reaction?
that name is apt, sir. There is no need of change, sir. Because the name, sir, which has been kept, it has a history, sir.
Okay.
So
What is the history of Raebareli?
Sir, the Raebareli history is famous for sir, one freedom fighter, sir, Rana Beni Madhav. And sir, during 1857, sir, he contributed in that national movement. And on that behalf, sir, this name of Raebareli, sir, was coined.
Okay.
So it has a very historical legacy, sir. We should appreciate it. Why to change the name, sir?
Okay. You seem to appreciate things as they are. You don't like change?
So change, sir, is a law of nature. And if there is need, so then change is there, sir.
Okay.
Sir, like, sir, our constitution, sir, it is an organic.
Okay.
So when there is a need, it should change.
Okay, but here I would like to contradict you from one of your answers. When Sir asked you about 10% EWS reservations, you said Article 16 clearly says something, and then it goes against the Constitution because only 50% is allowed, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And now you said the Constitution is organic; it can be amended.
Yes.
How come those two things are reconciled? Once you said because it suits your view that it cannot exceed 50%, and now you say yes, it is good to amend the Constitution. How do you justify
Sir,
those two
see,
views,
50%
contradictory views?
So the criteria of 50% reservation was based to make the balance in the society, sir. On one hand, sir, we have the OBCs, SC, ST. We have given the 50% reservation to them.
Okay.
Apart from that 50%, we should give from the general class. So if we are exceeding the 50%, means you are making the 60-40. You are creating the less opportunities for the general, who are also the part of the society. It will be unfair. So that's why, sir, Indira Sahni case, sir, it was balanced approach taken. The 50% should be the limit. After that, it should be open for the generals.
But the government is elected by the people, right? Okay. If it wishes, it can change the Constitution. It is allowed in the Constitution itself. Am I wrong? So how can you oppose one constitutional amendment but at the same time support something else?
Sir, amendments, sir, when you have to do the constitutional amendments, sir, we take input or insight from so many scholars, so many intellectuals.
Is it constitutionally required?
So before amendment, sir, so there is a committee formed, sir, which look into all the intricacies. In that committee, sir, they can take the assistance of the scholars and the intellectuals, sir.
Okay, they can, but is it constitutionally required to consult the scholars?
So it is mentioned, sir, they shall.
They shall. Shall is different from should, right? Or must.
Yes.
Okay, right. And one more question. What's your greatest weakness?
So what I think, sir, so when I do something, sir, I pay more concentration to that work. So I put my whole energy to that work only. Due to which sometimes when any task requires the multitasking approach, I somewhere lag, sir. So to develop the multitasking approach, so now I am working upon it, sir.
So how?
So
What are you doing specifically?
Yes, sir. So there is a, sir, app or there is a game, sir, Lumosity, in which you have to perform the multitasking things. So by playing that game, sir, you can develop the multitasking concentration. That is called diverted attention, sir.
Okay. Right. In that case, what is your weakest strength?
So
Weakest strength.
I didn't understand, sir.
Okay. You said your greatest weakness
Yes, sir.
is multitasking, right? You have some strengths, your personality strengths. What is the weakest strength that you possess?
Sir, optimism, sir.
So you are not optimistic.
I am, sir, but sometimes the situations are there when you feel, sir, it may or may not. Some when may or may not conditions come, sir, then it becomes a little bit. So that thought comes. It is a human tendency, sir.
So are you a follower of deterministic psychology?
No, sir. I should. Science. When ma'am was asking about the nature and nurture, sir, it is always an interactionist approach, sir.
So you are not a big fan of deterministic psychology, no?
No, sir.
No. Okay.
Madam?
I would like to ask you about your hometown because it's Rai Bareilly.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Rai Bareilly and Bareilly are two different places.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the difference?
Ma'am, if you see the geography, sir, Raebareli lies in the east of the Uttar Pradesh and Bareilly lies to the west of the Uttar Pradesh. And if you go into the history, the Bareilly is near the Moradabad and it was coined on the terms, there were two brothers, Bas and Bareilly.
No, means it's different geographically.
Different, yes, geographically, they are quite far away.
What is name me some cultural aspects of your own place where you belong from Rai Bareilly. Some.
Yes, ma'am. Recently, ma'am, in the Uttar Pradesh, they have launched one scheme, one district, one product. And in Raebareli, sir, ma'am, it is specifically famous for woodcraft. So woodcraft is the main product which is to be highlighted in my district, ma'am.
Okay. Any kind of fabric which is very famous in your state?
Yes, ma'am. There's one in Lucknow, ma'am, we have the chicken curry kurta. And in Varanasi, ma'am, we have the Banarsi silk sarees.
Right. Any kind of dance form?
Ma'am, the famous classical dance is Kathak.
Kathak, right. And just going to once you spoke about feminism, which I felt that it may be incomplete without asking you one question that because Uttar Pradesh is a strictly patriarchal society, do you think changing to patriarchy, from patriarchy changing to matriarchy is essential, or is patriarchy correct and should be continued? Or is there a need to change into feministic ideas or matriarchal societies as such, as South generally behaves? So do you think in North patriarchal society is functioning well, or do you think there are still some loopholes in it?
Ma'am, if we see the nature, ma'am, we have nature has a balanced approach. Means if there are men, then are women. 50% men, 50% women. But over a long period of time, the patriarchy was followed, due to which the women were subjugated. Right
But
now,
do you think that patriarchy is really bad? Is it really bad that it shouldn't be followed? Or feminist, like the feminism, as we say, or the matriarchal society, as everyone is now talking about, is it only to be followed?
ma'am, feminism is being talked about because the people know about the drawbacks of patriarchy. They don't know when the matriarchy will prevail, then there will be some drawbacks. So it should not be polarized, either patriarchy or matriarchy. What I think, ma'am, there should be the balance, like both male and female.
But
in
you are
any
giving me
decision.
just a theoretical answer. In practical terms, is patriarchy very bad, or is it always disadvantageous? What is your take? Can you cite some practical examples from it?
Ma'am, it is not bad, but ma'am, if you see, ma'am, what I want to say that it should not be patriarchy or matriarchy. This should not be the debate, I think, ma'am. The debate should be that both should be together. Like as soon as the society is being developed, we are giving opportunity to women in their decision making, in their jobs, employment. So when both will be come together at the same platform, then I think the balanced decision can be taken, and that will be the optimal decision, rather than the patriarchy or matriarchy.
Okay, and regarding your state, because Uttar Pradesh has like sex ratio in Uttar Pradesh is like one concern. So, what do you think your state has taken recent steps toward upliftment of or empowerment of women?
Yes, ma'am. Recently, they have launched one scheme, Ahilya Bai Bal Suraksha Yojana, and ma'am, there is one more scheme for the adolescent girl, and the government has launched the Beti Bachao Beti Padhao. That was highly means very enthusiastically it was implemented in the Uttar Pradesh. And if you compare ma'am census of 2001 to 2011, the Uttar Pradesh sex ratio was in 2001 it was around 913, but now it is 923. So progressively we are in
Progress. Last question to you from my side is: are you a believer of a strong policy or a stronger implementation of the policy? Which one do you believe? Strong policy should be there, or a stronger implementation of own policy?
Ma'am, what I think implementation should be given more importance, because ma'am, if we see our country from since 1947, the policies are very good, but the lacuna is the implementation. We have to much more. We have to give emphasis more on the implementation.
Can you cite two ways in which we can have that stronger implementation of such policies?
Yes, ma'am. For example, if you see about the Ganga cleaning program was there, ma'am. 1985 since onward steps has been taken, but the policy was made every time. Ganga action plan was there, then Nirmal Ganga was there.
Right.
Right now we have Namami
Namami
Gange.
Gange.
So ma'am, that policy was there and the objective was there, but implementation failure was there. Right now, with the help of technology and the digitalization, we are focusing on the maximum governance, that type of thing, e-governance.
Yeah.
With this, the implementation can be made much more better to get the desired output.
Right.
Right, Mayank, one question I would like to ask you.
Yes, sir.
Whether the Maternity Benefit Act is productive or counterproductive?
Sir, if you see the latest change in this act, the two things have been changes which are most in the controversy. First is they have increased the maternity leave from 12 weeks to 26 weeks, and second is that organization, if they have more than 50 people, then they have to make the crèche facilities. So sir, if you see the 12 weeks to 26 weeks, that is much more controversial, because on one side, okay, we are giving the privilege to the women that they can go for a medical leave because that time they need. But on the other hand, sir, the industries have taken it as a negative side, because they think that they have to pay the money and we are not getting the input from them. So some reports are also saying that due to which there had been some firing of the women from their jobs, and it is acting as a deterrence in some industries.
Do they not require 26 weeks of leave? That means if you see from the perspective of childbirth and associated problems, do they not require 26 weeks leave?
Sir, I think it is necessary 26 weeks. Instead of what we can do, we can provide the facility of working from home. If they can work from home, then the industries will also not feel that it is a deterrence act to them, and women also will feel that okay, we are working and we are getting the money from home facility.
Is it possible for all the jobs?
All the jobs.
You are talking about only the software or this digital jobs. But if you look at all other jobs, is it possible to work from home?
So then we should have the facility of crèche facility in the. So there should be some arrangement to be done by the.
But arrangement is as per the act. Arrangement is there. 50 employees or more requires crèche facility. But why there is a lot of hue and cry about that? And what is the solution to come out of it?
Sir, what I think, the main issue is the increase in this 12 weeks to 26 weeks, due to which the the industries actually, they are worried about that they have to pay the money to them without their work. I think the solution should be like that. We should focus on. Sir, I'm sorry, sir.
You're not able to. There are so many options. One is government can contribute, and it can be bifurcated: 13 weeks paternity, 13 weeks maternity leave, something like that. Both family members can be made the equal partners in child growth.
Yes,
Such type of innovative things can be thought of. And next important aspect, I would like to ask you two questions before concluding this from my side. First is, what is the biggest challenge to Indian society today?
Sir, I think unemployment is the biggest challenge, sir. Unemployment, the job creation is the biggest challenge.
But you told a short while ago, after liberalization, number of opportunities came.
So the rate of the job created and the rate with the population increase, it was a mismatching, and due to which the job was created, okay, sir, but the population increased drastically.
But population increase is not drastic during the past 1 or 2 decades. It is almost stabilizing.
So there are other factors like global economic slowdown was there, due to which
That is a recent phenomena. That means for the past decade or so.
Sir, why I am saying the unemployment, sir? Because job was only centralized, or they were concentrated with the service sector. The job was not created in the agriculture or in the manufacturing industries. So due to which the people who were having the ability of computer, they get the job. But there are many people who are not getting the job because of not availability of other options. And so if you see the economic survey report also, they are saying that we have the demographic dividend, but we are not able to utilize it because of less job opportunities.
So tell me now, what is the biggest threat when one looks at digital media?
So the biggest issue is sir, our data, sir, it is not being so the main issue is the right to privacy is the biggest issue, because they can access our data.
Is it not fake news?
So fake news also is one of the biggest issues.
And then how do you ensure the election process free and fair with fake news and digital media?
Sir, recently, sir, I think, sir, it was Facebook. They have communicated to the election commission that they will help them in countering all these fake media. So we have to collaborate with all these social media giants like WhatsApp and all. And sir, we have come with one more rules like IT intermediaries rule. In this, we have asked them, if there is any unlawful data, you have to report them within 24 hours. So such type of collaborative effort with the government and the social media, we can curb the fake news and we can ensure the free and fair elections.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayank.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So, shall I conclude this with a review of your interview? When it comes to the language, it has been adequate. I wouldn't say perfect, but this is not a language test, so I would say it is adequate. And you surprised us by using some really good words like pivotal, action and everything. That's good. But let's keep that aside. You have been a good communicator. That's a positive thing, right? Okay. When it comes to body language, it is positive, it is formal, and you were smiling, but when it is required, not overdoing it as well, right? You can smile, but like don't laugh, okay? And you haven't done it at all. And do not overdo it. You haven't done it at all. That's a good sign. But when it comes to expressing your opinions, you have been vacillating a lot. One problem is either you are differing to the opinion of the interviewer when you have started off with some opinion and the interviewer intervenes and states that no, why don't you think this is correct? You say immediately that yeah, it is correct, right? Okay. So, I mean, specifically with the question regarding the digital media, what is the biggest threat? Sir asked you, right? Okay. If you think it is the data, stick to it, no problem. Right? You need not immediately change your opinion to something else. It is also one thing that is wrong with it. And sir said, yes, it is also wrong. You may acknowledge that. but you need not shift your opinion drastically. You need not. Right? Sometimes you are expressing contradictory opinions. Right? I mean, may not be in the same question, but across several questions, you have contradicted yourself at least twice throughout the interview. Right? Okay. So your opinion must be consistent. Okay. You may hold an opinion different from what we hold, but your opinion must be consistent across several questions. That's expected. Right? What you are good at is facts and figures. Right? Whenever the question requires you to quote some facts and figures, you are coming up with it. But what I didn't like is when ma'am asks you about your city, ma'am had to prompt you every time to come out with what is good with your city or your district or something. Even the dance form, ma'am has to prompt you. You should be proud of wherever you come from, and you should be enthusiastic about what you say about the place you come from. Right? That enthusiasm was lacking. That's one thing. I don't know. And ma'am had to prompt you several times to come up with, okay, yeah, we have this, and then yes, this is also there. Right? Okay. Be more enthusiastic. Right? And you didn't try to bluff much. Maybe once or twice. Okay. So if you can cut it down, even that would be great. Okay. You can wriggle out of the situation. Let's say you have started answering a question and suddenly you found that, okay, your answer is inadequate and you cannot proceed any further. You can excuse yourself there, but do not proceed on the same path. Right? You have done only once or twice, if I'm not wrong. Right? Okay. And you're confused a bit about AI. This is regarding the opinion shift or opinion contradiction. Ma'am asks you about artificial intelligence and e-banking, and sir asks you about the biggest challenge. The answers were contradictory, weren't they?
Okay.
Is it not? So, I mean, more jobs are created on the one side, and then for sir's question, you answered that unemployment is. Okay. Those sort of things. And I liked your answer for how are you feeling. Yeah, you were honest with it, right? Okay. You would be nervous, definitely, and the emotions would be complex. Right. Okay. That's good as well, right? Okay. And for 10% EWS, sir grill you like anything, and I grill you. I think you came out reasonably well, except the fact that the shift in opinion. One is, at one point you said the constitution is organic, can be amended. At other point you said no. Except that sore point, I would say you have come reasonably well out of the grilling. Okay, those are my observations.
Right. You can conclude.
Okay, thank you, Maya.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.